What's going on, Ridetech Nation? Thanks for tuning in. On today's video, we're going to be taking this abody chassis and installing it up under that abody Chevelle. So before we throw everything on this table on the frame and get it up under Darren's abody, we want to go over everything you can expect to get. Up front, we've got our sway bar, all of the mounting hardware for it. We've got our billet steering arms, and then we've also got all the body mounts here. We're using polyurethane mounts in this case. Everything else in the suspension arms are Delrin, but this will help isolate some of that NVH that you get, but it won't beat you to death on the road. We've got all the hardware and mounting fasteners for that. We've got our tubular upper and lower control arms. We've got our rear sway bar. We've got our upper and lower 4-link bars that'll mount the Ridetech 9-inch that you'll see here momentarily. And then in this case in particular, we're using Ridetech's late model AFX hub spindle. This adapts to later model brakes from like C5s and C6s. But if you have a traditional pin spindle, you can retain that if you like. If you already have some aftermarket brakes for that type of a setup, you can certainly keep that. So let's get all this off the table and then we'll show you the different types of suspension that you can run. All right, now before we get started, whether or not you're an air ride guy or a coilover guy, we've got both options for you here at Ridetech. Ridetech actually got its start almost 30 years ago doing better air ride suspension, and we've navigated into the coilover space as well. We've got 24 position HQ single adjustable air ride or coilover, and then we also have a triple adjustable. This is our TQ track quality. We also have this in an air ride variant as well, but these add in a couple of additional knobs to fine-tune your suspension. We've got low speed and high speed compression, and then our rebound here is located at the bottom of the coilover as well. And to power the air ride, we actually have our AirPod E5 air management system installed in the back of Darren's abody already. All right, so let's talk brakes. Now earlier we were talking about how we're going to be upgrading to a C5 or C6 brake package using our late model AFX hub spindle. But if you are wanting to retain your factory pin style spindle, and there could be a number of reasons why you would want to do that. Maybe you want to be able to use a brake system that would be compatible with a smaller wheel and tire setup, like maybe a Willwood Dynalite Dynapro setup. You could do that. But in this case, we're going to go with the C5/C6 brakes. There is less deflection when it comes to a brake system like this. Willwood sent over their Superlight 6R calipers in red. We've got their 4R 4-piston calipers in the rear, and then we have 13-inch rotors front and rear. These are E-coated, going to be a little bit more corrosion resistant. There's safety wired in here, the hats to the rotors. And so one of the benefits of a system like this is once you wear out your rotors, you can upgrade or replace just the rotors themselves. You get to keep the hat. We've got a tandem 1-inch master cylinder here that we'll be installing to work best with these brakes, and we'll be able to dial in the proportioning front to rear, make sure the bias is set correctly with this proportioning valve here. And that pretty much sums up what we're doing for the brakes on this Chevelle install. All right guys, so we pretty much covered everything here except for what you see here in the middle of the banners here. So what this is a 79 to 93 Fox Body Mustang steering rack, and this is the rack that we've chosen. You've probably seen this in our last video we did on the F-body subframe, but we've adapted this same steering rack to the Chevelle. It comes out of a 79 to 93 Fox Body, and upgrading to rack and pinion steering is one of the nice modern amenities that I think a lot of people take for granted these days. It offers a whole lot more driver feedback, much more improved driver feel, and it's something that you're really going to enjoy here when you get your chassis. Now, one of the questions you might have if you're considering going to a full frame upgrade like our Ridetech chassis is when it comes to the fuel tank. What kind of fuel tank can I run? Can I keep my factory fuel tank, or do I need to upgrade to a fuel cell? While the end goal for the vehicle depends on what you're planning on doing, and that will help answer that question, we can certainly go over what we did for this build. This car already has a fabricated stainless tank from Rick's Tanks, and since we've developed our frame on this particular vehicle, we know that that'll work without any issues. Another option that you can go with is what you see here in front of me. This is a replacement stamped steel style unit, and they come from a place called Tanks Inc. They're available in carbureted and EFI versions. And if you already have one of these that's designed for a carburetor, companies like Holley also make EFI retrofit fuel pump modules that'll get you up and running in no time. Now, do keep in mind, some of the standard fuel cell dimensions or a custom version are certainly an option if you're planning something unique, but these two options here offer a great starting place for your Ridetech chassis build out. Now let's go check out those fuel lines and brake lines. Now, while we don't send you fuel lines or brake lines, what we do offer are these cutouts here that will allow the brake lines and fuel lines to pass through the chassis with greater ease. While Rodney built these, they're certainly a great example of what some brake lines and fuel lines can look like with a little bit of experience. And hopefully you can get a good idea of how to accomplish this on your own. All right, everybody, so we've got the engine, the transmission, we just got the drive shaft in as well, and if you come in and look real quick, I just wanted to show you guys the steering linkage adapter that we've got set up in here to get around the big block and the headers there and give good access to get the steering rack hooked up. All right, good morning. We're back in the shop. Yesterday we got everything mocked up and underneath the body of the Chevelle and lowered it down to make sure we got everything right to align with all of our body mounts. This morning came in and Rodney, Mason here, was working on updating some fuel lines. He ran all the fuel lines and brake lines. And Rodney, what are you doing right now?
When we ran the brake lines, it was a bare chassis, but now that we've got everything together and we're just doing some final tweaks and wrapping to protect it.
Yeah, you got some big block headers you had to get around with these fuel lines,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That's always fun. And then at the rear, what do we have going on?
The rear, we've got push on, so once we get the body down on it, we'll hook that up. The rear brake line's already tied in, everything's tight. We just got to tie it into the master cylinder once we drop the body down on the car. And then tie the fuel lines. We got the GM quick connect on both ends. We just got to tie it to the tank and to the throttle body.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I'll get out of your hair.